Welcome back to The Deep Dive. Today, we are really digging into relationships, sort of tearing apart those default settings we all inherit. We're trying to move past the standard labels, monogamy, commitment, and explore what it actually means to build a relationship structure intentionally with a conscious choice.
Yeah, getting off autopilot.
Exactly. Stepping off autopilot and figuring out what love means to you personally.
It's such a critical conversation. And today we're grounding this whole discussion in Reece Sterling's work on conscious love, redefining monogamy and commitment.
Okay.
We're specifically drawing from a couple of his blog posts, the box we put monogamy in, and the spectrum of sexual intention. Sterling really pushes us to look at the assumptions, the ones underlying almost every relationship we see or experience.
And that's really our goal for this deep dive, isn't it?
Yeah.
To unpack this idea that, well, like most big things in life, there isn't just one right way.
Right. No one-size-fits-all answer for love.
Exactly. Monogamy, it works beautifully for so many people. It provides real stability, security.
For sure.
But for others, and maybe a significant number, it can feel like, well, like a cage, like obligation. So the aim today is clarity, really. Moving past just labels to consciously build something that feels true for you.
Building something aligned. Let's start there.
Okay, let's talk about commitment first, using the box we put monogamy in. If I just say the word monogamy, what pops into most people's heads?
Oh, it's instant, right? So Sterling points this out. It's the couple, the house, maybe shared bank accounts.
The shared bed?
Yeah, the shared bed, and definitely that strict sexual exclusivity. That's usually seen as the absolute proof of love, non-negotiable.
And it feels safe, doesn't it? Because we recognize it. It's familiar territory.
And that familiarity, Sterling argues, is actually kind of the problem. It's the cultural default.
Oh, so?
Well, when something feels like a basic fact of life, like gravity or something, we just stop questioning why we choose it.
Oh, right. It becomes automatic.
Exactly. We pick it out of comfort, maybe habit, maybe social pressure, but not always genuine, conscious conviction.
And if it's just comfort, we're probably not doing the work, the hard work, of defining what that relationship actually means to us together. It's interesting how deep that runs. I mean, think about it. If someone in a relationship even suggests, thinking about alternatives, say, open relationships, polyamory, even just intellectually,
Yeah.
what's the typical reaction? It's often not, oh, tell me more. It's defensiveness, right? It sometimes even feels like a threat.
Absolutely, because you're not just questioning a rule about sex, you're poking at the meaning people have attached to that rule.
The meaning, like safety.
Security.
Yeah, perceived safety, social acceptance, and often this really deep kind of unexamined belief that you have to own someone's desire completely to feel secure long-term. You're protecting that whole package.
Yeah.
And that really intense reaction, Sterling links it back to what he calls the fear factors, these underlying fears that fuel the resistance to even thinking about non-monogamy.
Yeah, it's almost never just about the physical act itself. It's about the emotional territory that exploring alternatives opens up. Sterling points to 3 core fears that kind of keep people locked in that unexamined monogamy box.
Okay, let's break those down. These sound important.
First one is the loss of control. Simple as that. If you accept that your partner could desire someone else or even act on it within some structure, you lose that illusion that you can fully control their inner world or prevent heartbreak.
Right, that illusion of control is powerful. Okay, what's second?
Second, and this one can be really unsettling for people, is the exposure of desire. Your own desire, your partner's desire, realizing it's messy, it's fluid, it's not this neat little thing you can just contain with rules or a ring.
Yeah, desire isn't always convenient or linear.
Not at all. And the third fear is maybe the biggest philosophical shift, the idea that love might not need ownership to feel secure.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. It challenges you to find security from within yourself, from trust, from communication, not just from external rules about exclusivity.
So if these structures, like traditional monogamy, are often built, maybe unconsciously, to shield us from those fears, losing control, messy desire, needing ownership, then the structure itself, the label monogamous, can become more important than the actual quality of the connection inside it.
That's exactly Sterling's point. The structure is just a container, a shape you put the relationship into.
Container.
Yeah. Monogamy isn't automatically healthy just because it's common. And non-monogamy isn't automatically liberated or better. They're both just containers.
Okay.
The health, the vitality of the relationship, that depends entirely on the consciousness, the honesty, the integrity you bring to filling that container, whatever shape it is.
So even if someone has chosen monogamy, consciously they think, what are the unhealthy things they might be filling that container with? Without realizing it.
Oh, easily obligation, silence about desires, resentment. If your choice for monogamy is really driven by fear, fear of jealousy, fear of being alone, fear of social judgment, then your container isn't filled with conscious choice. It's filled with anxiety. True conscious choice means saying, I choose you, and I choose this structure with you today, aware of the challenges, not just seeking shelter.
It reminds me of some of Esther Perel's work,
Yeah.
that tension between security and desire, needing both closeness and separateness. It's not about eliminating the tension.
Exactly. It's about holding it consciously. And that reframes the whole question, doesn't it?
Yeah, it moves away from just the label. The question isn't really, are you monogamous or not? Is it?
That's just sorting. The real question, the one Sterling pushes us toward, is how do you love?
How do you love?
Meaning, how do you actually navigate the stuff that comes up in any relationship? Desire, honesty, jealousy, vulnerability, truth. Those things surface no matter what structure you pick.
Right.
If you can't handle those difficult emotions with integrity, the container itself, whether it's a traditional marriage or some form of ethical non-monogamy, it doesn't matter. It'll likely crack.
That's why other sources Sterling mentions, like The Ethical Slut, really emphasize relationships as needing conscious design, not just following a social script.
Precisely. Active, ongoing design.
Okay, let's pivot slightly, but stay with this theme of conscious intention. Let's look at sex itself through the lens of Sterling's other post, The Spectrum of Sexual Intention. The core idea here is pretty potent. Sex is never just sex.
Right. It's the same principle we just discussed with relationship structures, but applied to intimacy. We tend to get hyper-focused on the physical acts, the mechanics.
Oh, we do.
Exactly what we do. And we often ignore the why, the internal drivers. Sterling paints sex as existing on this huge spectrum.
Right.
It could be sacred, deeply connecting. It could be totally casual, just fun, playful. It might be driven by a need for comfort or connection, or even sometimes by chaos or distraction.
And the key thing is the physical act could look identical on the outside.
Completely identical.
But the internal experience is totally different. Why? Because the intention behind it, and maybe the outcome felt, is different.
That's the absolute core of it. We obsess over surface stuff, how many partners, what positions, how often, all that, and it tells us almost nothing about the real internal experience. You could have sex that feels, I don't know, physically fine, but it's driven by a really deep curiosity and self-awareness. Or you could have that exact same physical encounter driven by this gnawing loneliness, trying to just feel something, feel present.
The act is the same, but the meaning is worlds apart.
Worlds apart. And the difference lies in the honesty you bring to it. Honesty with yourself, first and foremost.
So the shift in questioning we need to make for ourselves isn't, was that good sex? Or what kind of sex am I having?
No, that's external focus. The shift is internal. It's asking, what meaning am I actually bringing to this? What am I hoping for here? And am I being truthful about that with myself and, if relevant, with my partner?
Okay.
If you can get clear and honest about that, Sterling suggests the quality of the experience itself transforms. And likely the relationship around it, too.
Can you give us a clear example of how this aligned versus misaligned idea works instead of just good or bad sex?
Sure. Think about a long-term couple. They might have sex that physically checks all the boxes. Maybe it's intense, maybe there's orgasm, whatever. But if one person is emotionally distant, maybe doing it out of obligation or to avoid a tough conversation,
Right.
that experience, despite the physical success, feels misaligned. It feels hollow, maybe even lonely. The intention, perhaps duty, doesn't match the potential for connection.
Okay, I see. It feels off, even if technically good.
Exactly. Now, contrast that with, say, a very clearly defined, casual, no-strings-attached encounter. If both people are genuinely on the same page, their intention is clear. Maybe it's exploration, fun, physical release, and they're honest about that boundary. That experience, even though it's not committed love, can feel incredibly aligned, powerful even, because the intention and the reality match up. There's truth in it.
So it's the truthfulness, the alignment between intention and experience that defines the quality, not the relationship label or even the physical outcome.
That's the heart of it, yeah.
This is all fascinating conceptually, but how do we actually do this? What I really liked about Sterling's pieces is they offer concrete practices, tools that you, listening, can actually use.
Yeah, moving from theory to practice.
Let's start with the commitment side, from the box we put monogamy in. We talked about those strong negative reactions to different relationship styles. Sterling offers the mirror exercise for that.
Right. So the moment you feel that knee-jerk judgment, ugh, I could never do that, or that's just wrong, you stop, pause, and you turn that judgment inward. Ask yourself, okay, what deep down need or fear inside me does this other person's choice seem to threaten?
What am I actually reacting to?
Exactly. Are you afraid of instability, so you cling to rigid structures? Are you afraid of not belonging? Is it about needing external validation? It forces you to see that your reaction says more about your internal landscape than their choice.
That's powerful. Okay, and if you're in a relationship, the next practice is rewriting the script.
This is about making the implicit explicit. Take a word like faithful. We assume we know what it means.
But do we?
Really? Probably not identically. Does it mean no sex outside the relationship? No romantic feelings, no emotional intimacy, no flirting, no secrets? You need to define it together.
Actually, talk about it.
Talk about it. Maybe even write it down. Make your definitions conscious and shared. You replace that inherited assumption with a specific mutual agreement. That's conscious construction.
And the third practice for commitment is more of a mindset shift. Curiosity in place of judgment.
Yeah, this one's simple but effective. Sterling suggests trying it for just 1 week. Every time you notice yourself judging someone else's relationship or sexual choice negatively,
Like, that's weird, or they'll regret that?
right, you immediately replace that thought with, I wonder what that's like for them. Just that little switch. I wonder. It shifts you from judgment to empathy, or at least openness.
Okay, those focus on the relationship structure. What about practices for sexual intention from the second post?
These are about bringing that awareness right into the intimate moments. First is the intention check.
Beforehand.
Beforehand. Could be solo, could be partnered. Just take a second to name your intention, even just silently to yourself. Am I seeking connection, stress release, comfort, pure pleasure, curiosity? And then afterward, maybe later that day or the next, you briefly check in. Did the experience actually meet that intention?
So you see if it was aligned or misaligned.
Exactly. If you intended connection but felt lonelier after, that's important data. It tells you something wasn't aligned.
Which leads perfectly into the next practice, the language shift.
Right. Getting away from good sex, bad sex, that's all performance-based.
Like a score.
Yeah, like a score. Instead, try using aligned and misaligned. Did this feel true to my intention? Did it resonate emotionally? It shifts the focus from achieving something physically to tracking the emotional truth of the experience.
Takes the pressure off, maybe.
Definitely takes pressure off performance and puts the focus on presence and honesty.
Okay, and the last one.
The debrief, talking afterward. But again, shifting the focus. Instead of, did you like that? Or was it good for you? Which are still performance questions. Try asking things like, what feelings came up for you during that? Or what meaning did that hold for you just now? It makes the conversation about connection and understanding, not a review.
Turning intimacy into a way to learn more about each other emotionally?
Emotionally. So when you pull it all together, the core message from both of Sterling's explorations seems really clear, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like it comes down to consciousness.
Consciousness, integrity, honesty, those are the things that define the quality of our relationships and our intimate lives. Not the labels we stick on them, monogamous, non-monogamous, good sex, bad sex.
It's about the how, not just the what.
Exactly. How are we showing up? Are we consciously choosing? Are we being truthful? It's about moving from default settings to deliberately building something, a relationship container, an intimate experience that genuinely fits our inner truth.
And building that, making those conscious choices, it takes real courage, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially facing those fears we talked about, loss of control, messy desire, love without ownership.
It takes tremendous courage. Which leads us to Sterling's final thought, kind of a provocative one to leave everyone with.
Okay, let's hear it.
We can only truly expand our definition of what love can be when we're brave enough to admit that maybe for a long time we've mostly been using the idea of love or the structure of commitment primarily to make ourselves feel safe.
Wow. Okay. Admit that safety might have been the main driver, not necessarily expansion or deeper connection.
It's a challenging thought to sit with.
Definitely something to mull over. And if this conversation has challenged you, if you want to dig deeper.
Then exploring those other thinkers we touched on, Esther Perel on relational dynamics, Emily Nagoski on desire and burnout, that would be a really valuable next step. They offer more tools for this journey of conscious love and aligning desire with awareness.
Fantastic. As always, it's been really insightful exploring these ideas.
Likewise, important stuff.
We'll catch you next time for the next deep dive.